Hi everyone, welcome to the Numerology and the Astrology for April 26, 2020. So on the 25th, I put out a little notice on Facebook and on my website that everybody is in so much distress that I am doing a coronavirus 19 special. And so it's my way of giving back to the universe at this particular time when people are so desperate for information and a little bit of help and support. So for the period of time while we're dealing with this coronavirus, I'm giving a special of a 55-minute reading with me over the phone, because it's coronavirus land, for $100. And with that, if you give me 24 hours in advance, which is very important because I actually need the time to put together your astrological chart. And if you give me your birth time, place, and date, I will put together a natal chart for you with a tremendous amount of information on the angles and aspects of your chart, because I find that the more I understand my chart and I understand what I came in to work on, I feel like I can be much better informed as to the choices that I need to make in my life. And if I see the pattern, then I go, oh, there's the pattern. Now I know that these are my options for that pattern. And I will also give a forecast for the next 6 months to the coming year. It kind of depends on certain angles and aspects that are happening, to kind of give you some heads up, which will also be written down. So you'll end up with probably like 20 plus or 30 plus pages. It kind of depends on the person and their chart, that you can have as your natal chart so that you can refer back to a lot. And then also as a progression to kind of see what's going on. Because I think these are really important times and they're really intense times. And I think we need to know what is on our personal plate. And this thing that I do is more like what the global plate is a little bit, but I feel like there's so much that's happening for people on a personal level that I wanted to give that. Also, I will give you a PDF copy of my numerology book and my numerology workbook. At which point you can go on my YouTube channel and you can find my numerology classes under the playlist section, and you can actually take my numerology class, because you'll have the workbook and you'll have the book, and then you can actually take the class. And so many people tell me that, oh my gosh, once they got my book and my workbook, they did the numerology on everybody in their family, and they suddenly understood the patterns of what they came to teach them and what they are here to teach this person, and what the potential conflicts are and where those conflicts arise. And once again, I think information is invaluable and really helpful to be able to make clear, concise choices rather than reactive choices. And I think the only way to stop reacting is education. And, people need more information. So as a result, that's what the package is, which is an amazing package, because what I'll tell you is that it'll take me an hour to put together that astrological chart and all that information for you, and then to do an hour reading with you around, what's going on and how you want me to operate the reading. And so it's a fantastic deal. It's taking more of my time, and you're getting more than you could get from absolutely any astrologer that's offering out there. And I'm a really good astrologer, psychic person. So this is my gift of spirit. So I hope that you take advantage of it while it lasts. Remember again to give me 24 hours to be able to put your charts together, because I am doing readings throughout the day and I have to have time to put those things together. So you can go on my website and you can go on to my appointments tab, and under the appointments tab you basically create a username and a password, and you sign up for where you want to sign up. And as you click on the different types of readings, you will, if you scroll usually to the bottom, you will see a coronavirus special, and that's where the $100 price is. So then you can just sign up for yourself. You can also call me. You can text me, and you have my phone number, which is 707-354-1019, because it's out there all over the place. And I hope that this helps in some small little way. And it gives you a ton of value for a little bit of money. Okay, there's my spiel for today. Okay, so let's get back to the astrology and the numerology for 2620. If you add all of those numbers together, you get a 16. If you add the 1 and the 6 together, you get a 7. The number 7 is all about understanding the subtle patterns that are within life. I like to think of each life as music, and each of us has a pattern or a rhythm to that life, and that pattern, if understood, can be anticipated and predicted, just like most of the time you can follow where a song is going in your head as you become one with the composer's mindset, emotional flow, and energetic expression. Each of us have established parameters of our own personality. And while some of our routine is comforting, other parts can be irritating to others. The number 7s is a number of curiosity. The part of us that knows that all things have meaning, and we want to be able to comprehend that meaning. Being able to understand that meaning gives our mind a rationale that helps us to make some sort of sense in a very complicated world. Right now, that is something that is deeply needed. Figure out what you need the most in life and begin to put together a plan that will help you find that new path. Now, the astrology today, I'm sure other people besides me are having trouble sleeping, but if you were having trouble sleeping, or if you were awake suddenly early on Sunday morning, you would not be alone. There is a lot of electrical overloading going on. And the sun aligns with Uranus, and that is a kind of energy that jolts you awake. So write down what comes up in your dreams, because by the morning you will not remember what it was, and there might be something important in there that is of significance to help you make this new shift. So now there is this shift that's happening that wants others to interrupt and change things, and the truth is going to reveal itself, and we will find out that lifting that stay-at-home order, may or may not be a good thing. And there are many new ways that you will feel compelled to handle money and your old methods of stress. So some want to move forward and to be progressive in their approach. Others want to be defiant and push against established patterns and choices. Progression forward is a better way through this moment, and you are being forced to detach from things that are limiting. So use that moon in Gemini to help your mind come up with something very new. Mercury in Aries square Jupiter. So expect some to be hasty, and that carelessness can increase the suffering of others. So try not to do that. With the moon conjunct Venus, take some time with your mom today. Get on the phone, appreciate the many gifts that she has given you. You never know how long your moms are going to be here. Okay, and the moon is going to trine Mars, which gives you the motivation to take action. So stay open, love truth intensely, and be practical. The energy of imbalance and nervousness increases. Staying aligned and on task is what you need to do at this time, and while the goal may be a ways in front of you, the goal is important to give you focus in this moment of crisis. Sorry, I can't stop coughing. It's all of the pollen. I've been out in the garden all day making fences, and it's been a wonderful day, but it's definitely the pollen is in the air everywhere. Okay, so my quote for the day. Where do you go when you are not afraid? Do you let yourself fly and lead a parade? What would it be like to wander and be free? Free to love all of you and all of me. I think it would be a miracle of light, a dance of eternity that would be endless and bright. What magic would come if all could only see that what you seek is within thee? Okay. All right. So now, my blog for today is that, I wanted to kind of tell a story from my childhood. So, probably not surprising to any of you. I, being a Leo, I am very strong-willed, and I am very determined in what I want. So, when I was 5 years old, I happened to see the Moors Pavane with Tony Lander and Bruce Marks, who ironically I ended up dancing in the company that they were being the directors and ballet mistress of. And many years later, but I saw them and I must have been 5 years old, and I said, this is what I want to be when I grow up. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. And so I wanted my mother for my 6th birthday. She said, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, I want ballet lessons. And she gave me tap lessons, and I cried my whole birthday. When I was 7 years old, she asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said it's not that I didn't love the tap lessons, because I love tap, but I really wanted ballet lessons. And she gave me more tap lessons, and I cried again. And by my 8th birthday, she finally gave me ballet lessons. I was so incredibly happy. And I let go of the tap lessons, and I was off and running in the ballet world. What I love about ballet is almost the military precision and the discipline that it takes to do something repeatedly over and over and over again, and to find a way to make it more special, to have more depth, to have more subtlety, to have more control, to have more speed, to have more leap, to use the emotions that you have inside and to translate them through the body in a nonverbal way that expresses the very complex emotional expressions of this life. And to me, it was bliss. It was always bliss to go to ballet. It was an emotional release. Like all day long, I would feel like I had to keep all my emotions so pent up inside. And ballet was the one place that you could emotionally completely let go and release what you were feeling. And by giving yourself permission to feel what you feel and to move it through the body, you learn a different type of control within the body that is very different than a mental control. It's a permissive control. It's accepting what you're feeling. It's trusting that there is a flow to that feeling and an end point to that feeling, and that something beautiful can come out of the most treacherous, dark, despondent, depressive places of your psyche, that you can actually create something really beautiful out of all of that. So that was what ballet was about for me, but it was something that my father could never really completely understand. Not surprisingly, he was an engineer, he was an electrical engineer, and so, this seemed like a lot of fluff to him. And he said he didn't want me around all those strange men in ballet. And I would laugh because I would say, well, being around those, quote, strange men in ballet was probably the safest place to be. It was probably safer than being at my high school or my junior high than in other places. And so I loved ballet, but he absolutely hated it. And he kept wanting me to grow up and get a real job or to do something of value. So he would say, you're going to go to college and you're going to get a degree in engineering, because I was very good at all of that. And I said, no, I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to be a professional ballet dancer. And he goes, no, you're not. You're going to do what I say. I'm your father, da, 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 da. And we would have these massive fights, where for me, I recognized something about my father was that he didn't like it that I would stand up to him, but he didn't respect anybody who wouldn't stand up to him, which was a contradiction, as you could tell. So he didn't necessarily respect my mother because she was so sweet and she was so she was like a cupcake. I always tell people say, what is your mother like? And I'm like, well, she's so squeaky clean that she squeaks when she walks. I mean, she's just like, she's so sweet. But, for me, I was more like the spice part, not the sugar part necessarily as much. And so my poor father had his hands full. And, I finally said to him, I'm going to hate you if I grow up to be an old woman and I say to people, I could have been a famous ballet dancer if my father had let me. And I said, and I will hate you for the rest of my life if you do not let me try. And his comment was, well, do you know how many little girls want to be ballerinas and how many really make it? And I said, I totally get that, but I'm going to be one. And there was never that doubt inside of myself. And so what I loved about my life experience with ballet was a feeling of deep down certainty. And I'm not saying I was the best ballet dancer or that I was technically the most brilliant ballet dancer, but I was good enough to be able to do principal roles and have Rudolf Nureyev pick me out of the Corps de Ballet to do principal roles with him. And so I was good enough. I mean, I was definitely good enough, but there's nothing like a full body knowing. And, you know, I knew it from the moment I was 5 years old. I knew it from that moment, and I was certain about it. And there was never any waffle in my energy field. And I want people to start looking for that full body certainty, because we're coming into a really tumultuous time, and you're going to need to know and have that clear, defined certainty within yourself before you make certain moves. And some of those moves might look like jumping off a cliff metaphorically, not literally, metaphorically. And yet I find that when I do those things and I have a full body certainty, I actually am totally safe when I have that full body certainty, not when I don't. So until you know, don't necessarily go. And I remember firewalking the first time, and they said, if you don't get a yes, don't walk, right? And, I remember not getting a yes and not getting a yes and not getting a yes, and everybody else was walking, and I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Like, my competitive side kicks in. And then I finally talked to the fire, and I said, I'm going to walk across if you burn my feet or not. And then I heard the fire say, then walk. And I walked across the hot fire, and it felt like walking on popcorn. It had no heat to it whatsoever. And so I think we're walking through fire at the moment. I think we're walking across hot coals. I think that you should not walk until you have certainty, until you are 100% clear, and you have a full body clarity. So I want everybody to start listening to the body, connecting to the emotions, connecting to the spirit, connecting to the mind. All of that has to be connected, that we have to be really, really congruent. And it's in that congruency that you will find truth, because you will not find truth if you just have what you think is truth in your mind, but it's not congruent in your body. You will end up burning your feet. Metaphorically. And if you have, you think clarity emotionally, but it's, again, not spiritually connected to a higher force, you're going to burn your feet again. And I find you have to have all of the levels connected. And for me, it's my physical body, my emotional body, my mental body, and my spiritual body have to be absolutely in agreement. And when I get that full body yes, it's moving through all of those chakras, all of those energy fields in my body. And then I know that even if it seems impossible, there is something that is possible in that impossibility. And I may not get exactly what I think I'm going for, but I will get something that still would have been impossible before. So I believe that within you, there is something possible. And I believe that right now you think it's impossible. And I would love for you to find out that possibility. Thanks.